In late 2002, during the original brand split, we saw the formation of the Smackdown Six. Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Eddie and Chavo Guerrero, Edge and Rey Mysterio put on some of the best matches people had ever seen in the WWE and helped the brand beat Raw in the ratings on a few occasions. If you haven't seen anything from this era, then go and hunt it out on the WWE Network or YouTube where some of the matches are available. Anyway, ever since the 2016 brand split, I think SmackDown have been trying to build up a new set of 6 wrestlers that can replicate the success they had before. However, in my mind, they've only got 5 so far. If you were to try and make a group of the 6 most important stars on SmackDown right now, then John Cena, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler are almost unequivocally on there. They bring the mix of years of indie credibility and proficiency in the WWE style that the original 6 had, however they're one short. And I've been thinking a lot this week about who could fill in the 6th slot. I've managed to narrow it down to a few possibilities who I think could fill the role. Bray Wyatt. If last week didn't make it clear, I love Bray Wyatt. I think there is just no question that he has the credentials necessary to join in the 6. He could have great matches with any of the 5 and it could make him a bigger star quite easily. However, I think he is too special to be in a group having regular matches on TV and is much better suited to a role where he can pop up occasionally and have an intense one-on-one feud. Becky Lynch. Maybe a slightly controversial pick seeing as she couldn't have any matches with the other 5, but seeing as Becky Lynch is clearly the runaway star of the SmackDown Women's division, I think she kind of warrants a place on this list. When people look back at her, they could see her as a cornerstone of the brand, which is something important when looking at the original 6. Basically, I think Becky Lynch is amazing and wanted to add her to the list. Baron Corbin. I know Baron Corbin receives a lot of flack for his ability, and it's not entirely unwarranted, but I think if he could join this, it would help him a lot. The 5 are all brilliant in the ring and working with all of them would massively help Baron. He has a very distinctive look and character, and when he is given a decent story he can get proper heel heat from the crowd, which could help and add some depth to the stories and matches. Shelton Benjamin. Obviously Shelton isn't around currently due to his shoulder, but he confirmed he will be back when it is healed, so I don't feel it's wrong to include him here. During his first run in the company, he was a person who could wow in the ring, but was never really given a chance. Now he is returning with name value, you have to hope he will finally be given that shot. His work since leaving the company has received praise, so it's obvious he still has the talent, so if only for match quality I'd like to see him in the 6. Randy Orton. This is easily the most boring choice on my list, but one I felt I had to include because WWE could very easily go with it. Randy is a good to great performer in every aspect and could have some fun matches, but it's just too safe a choice. John Cena fills the veteran role perfectly already, so Randy Orton would be taking a spot that could build someone new. I like Randy a lot, more than some other people do, but I think his time has passed now and he should settle into his current role on the roster. American Alpha. First things first, American Alpha is an appalling team name. Okay, now that's out of the way. Like Becky Lynch, American Alpha doesn't technically fit into the 6, but if they can count as one pick in the draft, they count as one here. Chad Gable and Jason Jordan are crazily exciting performers and are also probably the most exciting team in WWE now. They could get involved in stories taking on mix and match teams of the other 5. WWE do love a mixed team storyline, or just have a few singles matches to show how they can cope alone. Kalisto. I thought I would add Kalisto here to fill the role of flippy masked man that Ray had before. Despite this, he is probably the least deserving of the list, simply because he doesn't have much of a character or that much to really care about in the ring. He could add some diversity to the matches with his lucha libre style, but overall it's probably best to avoid him. Apollo Crews. While the rest of this list isn't particularly ordered, I have left the person I feel deserves the role most till last. Apollo Crews has had rotten luck since being called up to the roster. He was called up way too early before he had really nailed his character, and has then been given virtually nothing to work with. However, when he was in NXT he showed that he can have great matches, which is something that always goes down well. I think if they slowly build a character for him beyond guy who smiles a lot, then add him into feuds with the others, they could make something special. If programs with each of the 5 can't get him over, then nothing can. But if it does work, then they could easily have a new star in the making. Anyway, that covers my thoughts on the new Smackdown 6. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, then find me on Twitter at Ropeburn Podcast or email me on chester@ropeburnwrestling.co.uk. I'd like to thank Kevin MacLeod for his track Cool Hard Facts used in this podcast, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0.